Welcome back to the Bush and Me show. I say welcome
Mm,
back because we took a couple weeks off. We wanted to get ready when sports came back. So we got some things working for you guys. So when sports do come back, we're gonna have more analysis. We're gonna have
yeah.
better formatting for our news, for our picks. We're
I hope
excited.
you. I,
I'm
I I
excited.
hope you guys like what we're doing. We're just trying to spruce it up a little bit, especially on our social media platforms. I'm excited about it. We're putting the finishing touches on that right now. So yeah,
We're here for you. We're here for you. So if you see something you like, let us know. If you see something we can improve on, let us know.
yeah. But don't leave that in the comment section. DM anything you don't like to us. If you like something, put it in the comments. That's how we trying to roll. Nah, I'm just.
Yeah, but we got some good stuff coming out for you guys. Plus, you know, my wedding got canceled May 2nd, so it was a good time to organize my contingency plan. So August 8th, I'm getting that out the way. And as
Are
you
you
can see,
still
my
you still crying in the corner over there?
still crying in the corner.
It's okay.
Now we're gonna get it done August 8th. So it took
Okay.
some time to do that. And as you can see, my co-host put a gym in his garage, and he's been trimming the bush. What are you down?
Oh
270, 275?
no, 290. I'm still around 295. I can't get under 295, so I'm gonna have to do something drastic in the next couple of weeks.
You got
Kind
to
of get
shock the
slimmer.
body.
I'm gonna have to do something. I'm tired
Shock
of
the
it.
body. Yeah, so we've been
I'm,
getting
ti-
things
I'm,
ready
I'm
for you
tired of
guys.
people asking me, you play football? You play football? No, I don't. So I need to get this shit off of me. That's what I need to do. That's what that means.
Could be just skinny, walking around, tall and skinny.
Mm-hmm. Like you.
So we've been getting things together for you guys, but we wanted to hop on here and go over some topics that have been trending recently, especially Mr. Half a Billy himself, Patrick Mahomes.
Billy.
Technically
Yeah.
450 million, with it can be up to 503 if he wins the MVP, if they win the Super Bowl, AFC Championship, all that stuff. 10 years. What do you got on the guarantee? I got 63 signing bonus, 141 in injury.
Well, it was a 10-year extension,
Right.
so he did have a year or two left on his deal. So
Two.
I believe his guarantees over the next 5 years will bank him about 250 plus million, around 250 million dollars. You can pretty much stamp that, ladies and gentlemen, because that's not going anywhere. 250 million he's going to get in the next 5 years. Pretty
He just
decent
made
at
his
math.
kids.
His kids.
His kids are now rich.
Yeah, exactly. They ain't even been thought about yet. So, yeah,
Largest
shout out
hit
to
on Largest hit on the cap's going to be in 2027 at 59.9 million. Now, when this first came out, my first thought was we were going to get on here and talk about how do you build a team around that, with that much cap space. Right now, the highest quarterbacks are high 20s, low 30s, and you're finding those teams are struggling to build a team around them. And then, bam, today on the newswire, Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs gets an $85 million contract, $60 million guaranteed for injury.
Kansas City.
How they going to build a team around this?
Well, they got two great players right there. I mean, you just fill it in next. I mean, ain't gonna be able to pay. Who you gonna pay? You can't pay anybody. I don't know when Tyreek Hill's stuff is up. You still got Kelsey there. He's a big part of their offense. They have a pretty stout defense. Over the next couple of years, it'll be very interesting to see how Kansas City keeps that team together. I think they're going to be very good this year. Obviously, they are probably favorites out of the AFC for sure because they pretty much have the same team. But yeah, kind of like you were saying, these teams with some of these high money quarterbacks, sometimes they are kind of stuck in a situation where they can't bring any weapons, any protection, the way that he's going to be needed. That's a $50 million quarterback, $50 million over the next 5 years per year. You got to protect that guy, and you got to pay those guys that's in front of him protecting him. So, the salary cap will go up every year, but Kansas City Chiefs have been handing out some money in the last couple of weeks, so we'll see how they are able to get those numbers fixed up over the next couple of years so they can put the pieces in play.
I just pictured 2027 you're paying the quarterback $60 million. I hope it's not a Bugs Bunny episode where he's the quarterback, the receiver, the center.
I'm pretty sure his guarantee's running out by then, so he will either have reworked that deal or he won't be in the Kansas City Chiefs uniform come 2027. But yeah, you're exactly right, because he can't throw the ball to himself. So we'll see how it's going to play out. We're going to see how it's going to play out over the next couple of years for sure.
Another deal that hit the news wire today: Myles Garrett, 5 years, $125 million, $50 million due at signing.
At signing? Oh, I didn't know the details.
$50 million signing bonus.
You know what? He's worth every penny of it too. You know, when you get when you get that scouting report early on in the week, on Wednesdays, I did have the opportunity. I didn't play against Myles Garrett, but you know, you rank every single player that's on the field. He's a blue chip guy. He is a guy that has to be accounted for on every single play, run and pass, because he's pretty damn good versus both of them. He's explosive off the edge. If you don't have a plan for your blue chip prospects that game, they can ruin a game. And that's the type of player that Myles Garrett is.
Well said. So moving on to the NFL season with all this money going out there, rumors are no fans. If they do play this season, no fans in the stands. And there was a rumor of a 35% pay cut that they might have to ask the players. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's see. First off, it's the NFL, and you got to fight for every single dollar that they give you. You know, your contracts are not guaranteed. There's only a few people that are financially stable in the NFL, and majority of them are not going to be okay with a 35% pay cut. And then there's this other guy that's out there. I believe his name is Sam. They call him Uncle Sam. He's going to get his 40, depending on where you play, 40 to 48%. So you're telling me you're going to take 35, and then off of that, you're going to take Uncle Sam's cut? Players aren't going for that. First off, you're already putting your body through a lot. You know, just playing the sport of football, as you grow older, your body is more susceptible to injuries and things like that. It's a lot of wear and tear. Oh, and we have a pandemic crisis that we are dealing with now. So you want people to take a pay cut? That's not happening. The guys literally won't play. They won't play for that. And I understand some of the frustrations that I've seen on social media with that. But as far as the no fans, I want to hop into the no fans thing here, because it kind of, that's the energy, man. Like, that's where guys get excited to walk out in that stadium, especially if you're the home team, because you building off that energy. It feels like, you know, you got the whole city, the whole region there with you. And when you walk into an away stadium, and it's just like, it's you against everybody in there. And that's an adrenaline rush that you can barely put into words. So this is a question I want to ask you, or maybe you should ask me. I don't know, but do you think the quality of the game is going to diminish a little bit? I mean, think about it. You have what did the Patriots say? They're waiting on word from their city officials that they can request 20% of the stadium.
They're going to try to only do 20%. Ravens said no more than 14,000 and no season ticket holders this year. They got rid of season tickets. And the Eagles came out today and said no fans at all, which Dallas
you're talking about glorified. You're talking about glorified practice here, man. Like, that's my only issue. I mean, these guys are professionals at the end of the day, but I think some of that spark, I think some of the quality of the game could go down a couple notches. That's just how I feel about it.
Definitely. Maybe they can do it. They can follow the Atlanta Falcons model and pump in noise to generate some motivation there.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And the Who Dat Nation would definitely agree with you there, because every time I got to play there, I was like, man, this is deafening loud in here. Like, why is it so damn loud in here when half of the people in this stadium are Saints fans? So yeah, they're definitely pumping out that noise.
Well, hopefully they'll at least play the games this year, even if there are no fans in the stands. I know it'll be weird, but at least hopefully they'll get to play. Mm-hmm. Unlike maybe college football, the Ivy League has canceled fall sports. Patriot League followed suit and canceled fall sports. Big Ten and Pac-12 both said they were going to only play conference, which is a little weird to me, because I think it's a money thing. Because you're telling me the University of Maryland canceled their game against the Towson Tigers. Shout out to you.
Shout out to the Tigers.
But they can still travel to Michigan and Michigan State, and you think that's a safer alternative? I think this is all coming down to dollars here.
That's what it is. If the Ivy League isn't smart enough to come up with a plan for COVID-19, I mean, what are the rest of the leagues going to do? We might as well go ahead and just shut this shit down right now and figure out a plan to get college football going after December, maybe when we have some kind of vaccine or something. But, like, if they can't come up with a plan, the rest of us ain't going to – like, what kind of plan are we going to be able to follow? So, I don't know.
The smartest people said they're not going to play, but we're going to play anyway.
But the Big Five, though, that's the real money maker right there.
Oh, yeah.
That is big money. You're talking packing out stadiums. You're talking TV deals, and it's just big. It's just big business. You know, NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar year business, and they're not trying to lose out on them dollars just like the NFL. So I understand it. I get it. They want football back. They're not trying to lose out on that revenue. They're going to find a way to get them big teams in there to play. You telling me there's not going to be any SEC football or the thought of it? That would be tough. That would be really tough in the sports world.
My thing is the NFL you can kind of justify because it's your job. It's how you're making income for yourself, for your family. College football, you're going to have the kids taking all the risk. 18 to 22-year-old kids out there playing, you know, getting exposed to the virus, and you're going to have the corporations and the universities sucking in all the money, sitting behind glass and separated 6 feet away.
In their suites, eating all that nice food and drinking their nice drinks. Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard to justify that as we get closer to the season. If I had to guess, I would say spring season, college football. They might push it to the spring.
That is it could work. I mean, why not? I just don't see how it's going to happen. But if anybody's going to make it happen, it's going to be the Big Five, and they'll make it happen. If not, it's going to be sporting world's already taking a big hit, and that would be another big hit right there.
Well, we're in the cancel culture right now, and I just think as it gets closer, it's going to be hard to justify sending 18 to 22-year-old kids out there. But speaking of cancel culture, the Washington insert name here's
the Washington Blanks. Let's go Washington
Blanks.
There's nothing. They don't even have a logo. There's no logo. There's no name. There's camp in 2 weeks. I mean, what are they going to put on the side of the helmets? What's going on here?
They came out a few days ago and said that they were retiring. First time I ever heard that for a team name. I've heard changing or switching, but they're retiring the Redskins. Daniel Snyder finally made the decision. I think this was kind of made for him.
Well, he did say back in May 2013, we would never change this name. Well, they coming for those pockets, Danny. And
yes, sir.
They're coming for those dollars. And just like you said, we are in cancel culture right now. We were talking about this before the show, but we're just in a different time.
It's a different time. I think the world around him is changing. And there's an accountability factor here where the world today is holding you accountable for certain things where we let it bypass in the past. And FedEx saying that they're going to take the name off the stadium, dollars coming out of his pocket, like you said, forced it. The NFL even stood up a little bit and backed it and forced him to make this change. I think it's about time. It had to happen. Yeah.
Well, when you look up the word Redskins in the dictionary, it says offensive. So it is an offensive term. I mean, I grew up a Redskins fan, but there's a lot of their fans out there. They're very angry. If you scroll through some of the social media stuff, they're upset. But a lot of these people are the ones who don't get it and they don't understand it, and you're not the one who is affected by this. So this had to happen. It should have happened a long time ago. It is an offensive term. It's time to take it out. And it is what it is. Dan Snyder, just go ahead and make the right move. But what are you hearing about a name?
I'm hearing the lead candidate is the Washington Warriors. Daniel Snyder trademarked that team name back in 1999 when he was trying to start an arena team. Still has it now. I hear that they're just working on it logistically to transfer it over. The Warrior, you're gonna have the Warriors. You can go Washington Warriors. You can go DC Warriors, which some people like a little better. They're gonna go with the old arrow with the feathers hanging off, like the Sonny Jurgensen days, back when Vince Lombardi coached there for 2 years. There's a stat for you. Some of the other names that were thrown out there were the Braves, which I think this is kind of a switch right there. Hogs, the 1980 big linemen.
I mean, shout out to the linemen for that, but I don't think for your mascot name. I mean, I don't know about that.
The Senators, a little political in DC.
I don't like it.
I know you wouldn't. And the Generals. They want to have some kind of a military reference, so
it kind of makes sense coming out of DC. I mean, you know, this kind of reminds me of the same situation down in New Orleans when the Hornets left and they wanted to, you know, continue to have an NBA franchise down in New Orleans, and the name that they ended up obviously going with was the Pelicans, and that was rest in peace to Tom Benson. But Tom Benson and his family are the owners. He owned the trademarks to that name. Everybody hated that name, but it made sense for him, you know. So if he has a trademark, why not go ahead and do it? Name the team the Pelicans, and you know, it is what it is. And he already has the Warriors, like you said. It seems like that's the move right there.
Washington Warriors. So there's a lot of your current events that we wanted to get on and talk about. But I want to close it with one thing that I don't think we're getting enough credit for out there. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about this. Joey, cue the video up, Joe. We're gonna have to put a little blurb in there because my dog me called Cam Newton to the Patriots back in November.
I'm gonna blow your mind here.
What are you gonna do?
This isn't on our sheet.
Yeah, you kept saying you were gonna say something off the wall.
What if Cam Newton next season is on the New England Patriots? What do you think about that? So Tom Brady has lined it up so his contract ends after this year. He can opt out.
Really?
Tom Brady's house is for sale. You probably heard Adam Schefter say all this.
How much is it?
I don't know, but you ain't buying it.
Oh, in my pockets.
His trainer that he has done all this TB12 stuff with, his house is for sale. Everything is lining up like Tom Brady's not going to be the quarterback next year.
Where's Tom going to go?
That could be another segment for a different show. Yes. But who's coming in? Who's going to be the quarterback for the Patriots next year if this happens? I think Cam Newton would be the perfect fit. I think Bill Belichick will be open to it. He wants to prove that he can win without Brady. He probably doesn't have a lot of years left in this league. Arguably the best coach to ever coach in the league.
That's real. That's fair.
They could rename the trophy the Belichick Trophy. But what if Cam Newton was on that team? Think about that. In a Patriots jersey. I like it. I think they would make that move if that happens. If Brady's not there, Newton is going to be traded in the offseason. I think he's going to New England.
Back in November, he called it. So, you know, let's show my guy me some love.
Paint the picture. It was week 11. Now, you're talking Tom Brady has been in New England for, 18, 19 years. Nobody thought he was leaving at all. But we heard a little rumor that, you know, he was kind of setting it up to test out free agency. And we also saw that's back when Kyle Allen, I think, was 4-0, hadn't thrown an interception yet. So
we were really high on Kyle Allen.
The writing on the wall was kind of, you know, Cam's on his way out, and nobody really believed this Tom Brady thing. But we said, you know what? What if Cam went to New England? And we said this. And now everybody I talk to is like, oh, well, everybody knew that when Brady left and it opened the door. Like, no. I get that. That was in March, April-ish. We're talking about November. We're talking about during the season. But let's talk about the move a little bit. I love it. I think Cam has something to prove. I love him hooking up with Josh McDaniels. You look at Josh McDaniels as a play caller, 07, one of the best offenses statistically in the history, Randy Moss, Tom Brady. The next year, Brady goes down week one, and he takes Matt Castle, who never started a game in college at USC, takes Matt Castle and turns him into a great fantasy quarterback that year. They ended up 10-6, and they actually missed the playoffs then. But he quarterbacked all those things. The 28-3 comeback, he was also the offensive coordinator there. You know what I'm talking about, Atlanta, the Super Bowl. I think he's gonna formulate a playbook, a scramble option for. And you said it earlier.
Hey,
Cam already said it, right?
Open it up. Cam said, hey, with all due respect to Tom Brady, because Cam Newton's social media right now is gold, because he's tracked his progress for the last couple months. And, you can tell how hungry and how determined he is. And when you see him on his social media, he says it, man. He said it in an interview the other day. With all due respect to Tom Brady, you had a great there. He's going to go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. But you got a beast. You got a beast in Cam Newton. And now Brady was a statue back there. He wasn't doing any moving, but he can get that. He can make the plays and he can make the throws. Cam Newton can make the throws, but the last couple of years he's been dealing with a couple of injuries that's been hindering him. So now you got a healthy guy who's changed his physical, he's changed his mental, he's motivated. He said, open up the playbook, Josh McDaniels. It's going to get serious in New England. It's not the NFC South's problem anymore. The Saints and the Bucks and the Falcons don't have to deal with him anymore. It's the AFC East problem. And I think he's going to be an issue for every single team who they play against, because you have arguably one of the best coaches, if not the best coach to ever coach in the NFL, in Belichick, all these, rings that he has. And you got you got a healthy, motivated Cam Newton. I'm excited. I'm excited to see, because you don't go to New England and just fall off. You go to New England and you fall in line and you do what you're supposed to, and they're going to elevate you if you buy in. I'm excited about this move. I seriously am.
Now, everybody talked about the contract a little bit. It is a league minimum worth up to $7.5 million. Cam did come out and say, it was never about the money. He took the opportunity. It's pretty much a one-year audition. It kind of reminds me, not to dig in your pockets, but you can shed some light on this, but it kind of reminds me of that Dolphins contract. I'm in your pockets a little bit. That Dolphins contract you had.
Yes.
It was very incentive driven.
They gave me I ain't gonna throw my numbers out there, but it was a low number than what I wanted to play for, but they incentivized it pretty heavy. And I remember getting the incentive list from my agent when we were talking about it.
Check that one off. Check that one off.
Check. I think I hit every single one of them, and I walked in that thing on New Year's Eve like, where's my money? Where is it at? I need it right now. But it was but to that year, I mean, it was never about the money. Like, for me, it was just like, my goal was to get to my 10th year, because I wanted to play 10 years in this league. The Bears cut me. I'm a little salty about that still, but they cut me. Gay signed me. He wanted me to play right guard. I said, I'll do it, because you give me an opportunity. You give me an opportunity to play. I want to play my 10th season. You told me I can come in and compete for the starting job. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed. They incentivized my contract. I didn't think I was going to hit at least the last 2 or 3 of them, but we ended up making the playoffs. And so now we're living in South Florida. So I guess we can just kind of give you a little insight on how they took care of your boy. You feel?
Well, I got faith in Cam. It just reminded me of that contract and how you were motivated that year. I remember we talked about that years ago, but hopefully Cam doesn't end up living in New England.
You never know, man. They might fall in love with him. Hey, you get down there in that winning culture, he might end up buying a place up there if they can win some games. I'm telling you, it's an exciting place to play in. They get behind their winners. They get behind their players up there. So Cam, I think, has gone into a really, really solid situation. So I'm happy for him.
I'm excited for Cam. I was more excited for myself for making that call. So
yeah, you should be. You should be. We're going to wrap this thing up. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, Bush and Me Show. Follow our podcast. Put some people on. Tell a friend. Tell that friend to tell a friend. Tell that friend to tell another friend.
Another friend.
Grow this thing. Another friend, because we're trying to grow this thing. Tell us how you like how we're doing. We really appreciate you guys.
It's good to get back on here. We'll see you guys next time. We got a lot of good things coming for you.
Yes, we do.